Hello, everyone. Welcome to Board Gamers. My name is Dave,
And I'm Dirk.
and today we're going to take a look at Dirk's top five protection allies. So I've done a series,
Five or so.
five or more.
Five or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I don't do a top five. I do a top five plus.
Yeah. So yeah, I did a series of top fives, and Dirk's like, I want to do some top fives. So it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, that's the way it went.
Yep.
That was the exact song conversation.
Yep. Exactly. And
Like, Dirk, pull your weight.
that was my impersonation of Dirk.
All right.
Well, I'm going to let him take over at this point.
Okay, so we are going to start off with honor. Normally, I do an honorable mention. In this case, I've got more than one, but the honorable mentions are cards that they're situational, very situational. But whenever the situation arises, they move substantially up higher on the list. But I won't use them in a typical desk because they don't fit as well. We're going to start off first with probably one of the more situational ones that I've got here. My first honorable mention is going to be Spider Bite. Spider Bite is a 3-cost ally. It's a web warrior with 2 hit points. She thwarts for 2, she attacks for 1. But you can reduce the cost to play Spider Bite by 1 for each tech card you control. Now, the great thing is, if you're playing any character that uses a lot of tech, she's very easy to reduce the cost on. However, protection happens to be the one aspect I think that has more tech than possibly all of the rest of the aspects combined. So it is very easy to play her for free. I don't tend to use her unless my deck is pushing tech a lot. But if I'm pushing a lot of tech, she definitely gets a slot in my deck. But otherwise, I don't use her. But
Yeah, like Black Panther Shuri is a great candidate for this.
yeah, any of the Panthers. But yeah, Shuri especially because you can bring her. You can use her techs and bring them back easily.
Yeah.
But Iron Man's another great one because you definitely want a lot of tech with Iron Man.
Yeah.
But so she is my first honorable mention. All right, so my number 2 of the honorable mentions is Pinpoint. So Pinpoint is a 2-cost champion ally with 2 hit points. You do have to be a champion to play Pinpoint. This is why Pinpoint is on my honorable mention list and not part of the top 5 proper. But Pinpoint thwarts for 1, attacks for 2, does take 2 consequential in the attack. But as an interrupt, whenever a player card would be discarded, be placed in a discard pile from play, you're going to exhaust Pinpoint, shuffle the card into the owner's deck instead. So Pinpoint is great to be able to protect cards from being shuffled into the discard pile and taken a while back. So you can get the cards back quicker. So if I'm playing a champion, Pinpoint almost becomes an auto include in any champion protection deck that I am playing. Unfortunately, it does have to be a champion, so there is the honorable mention instead. All right. And my final honorable mention is Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is a 3-cost ally with 2 hit points. He's an X-Men. He thwarts for 2. He attacks for 2. But as an interrupt, whenever an X-Men character would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, you're going to spend an energy resource and return Nightcrawler to your hand to prevent all of that damage. So he's not even blocking. He is preventing the damage outright. So that is phenomenal. Unfortunately, it only protects X-Men characters. So unless I am playing an X-Men heavy deck, or I know that one of my teammates is playing an X-Men heavy deck, Nightcrawler doesn't make it in there because at a cost of 3 with only 2 hit points, I'm probably going to put something else in that slot. But if X-Men are important to the game, then yes, I will use him. All right. So now we're going to get into my top 5 then. Top 5 proper. First one I've got here is Starhawk. Starhawk is a 2-cost aerial guardian. He has 3 hit points, thwarts for 1, attacks for 2 with 2 consequential. But as an interrupt, whenever Starhawk takes exact damage to the remaining hit points, you're going to return them to your hand. So not quite as good as some other characters that can prevent the consequential. It's just you have to time it correctly. But if you can time it correctly, Starhawk is one that you can basically keep out in play. You do have to pay for them basically every other turn, sometimes every turn if depending on the deck and how things come out. But yeah, I mean, Starhawk, just because, would be a little bit higher if I didn't have to repay for them every time. But the fact that I could potentially keep them around quite a bit of time if I need them. So they are my number 5. Number 4 is Moondragon, or as I like to call her, Moondoggy. She is a
For no
3-cost.
reason.
Yeah, for no reason. I don't know why I started. I think I called her that one time, and I liked it so much that just became her nickname for me. But she is a 3-cost guardian ally with 2 hit points. She thwarts for 1. She attacks for 1. But you can exhaust her and discard her to choose a minion. That minion attacks another enemy of your choice. Unfortunately, you do have to discard her to do it. That's the only reason she didn't make it higher on the list. But I've always loved playing her. I don't tend to play a lot of allies, especially at protection, so she doesn't always make my decks, but I have a lot of fun with her whenever I'm going to play her, and whenever I'm in the mood to play her, she'll definitely make the deck. She is probably the biggest one that, just for flavor purposes, I love her and I love her ability. So I think it's more just she's a fun one to play for me. That's why she made my number 4 spot, Moondragon. All right, number 3 is Jocasta. Now, Jocasta is a 3-cost Android Avenger with 3 hit points. She thwarts for 2, attacks for 1. She does take 2 consequential on the thwart, but you can play any of. She comes into play. You're going to choose a defensive event in your discard pile and attach it to her face down, and you can play any event that's attached to her as though it were in your hand. So she is one similar to, if you saw my leadership video, there's an ally in there that she's very similar to. I do like allies that do this, that can search for a card, and basically, in her case, it doesn't go into your hand, it goes under her. So as long as she's around, she's an extra card for you that you can use. And with protection, that way you can put in a card that you need to be able to, either protect and ready, or there's a lot of protection events that she'll work for. So I like that ability that she's able to basically give you an extra card slot. So that's why she is my number 3. My number 2, she was actually my number 1 for a while, but she has slipped down to the number 2 within the last year. This is Clea. Clea is a 2-cost mystic ally with 2 hit points. She thwarts for 1, she attacks for 1, but I do love the fact that anytime she is defeated, you're going to shuffle her back into your deck. So she does recur herself, not quite as good as a leadership deck would recur her, but she puts herself back into your deck anytime she gets defeated. So she comes back quicker. So, and at a cost of 2, you're able to play her very easily again whenever she comes out. So yeah, the repeatability of her is why I like her so much.
Okay, so
number 2.
and the reason she slipped to number 2 was because multiple bans number 1.
No, I actually thought about making him an honorable mention, though. I did think about making multiple man honorable mention. The only reason he probably didn't make an honorable mention is because he takes up 3 cards in my deck. That's the hardest part. If he didn't take up, if they would allow me to count him as 1 card in my deck, I might actually consider putting him in decks. All right.
You can make a 42 card deck.
I could, but I'm going to use other cards probably. All right, so Brother Voodoo. So Brother Voodoo is my number 1 protection ally. He is a 3-cost ally, an Avenger Mystic with 3 hit points, thwarts for 2 with 2 consequential, attacks for 1. However, as a response, after he enters play, you're going to search the top 5 cards of your deck for an event card and add that to your hand and shuffle your deck afterwards. So he is another one very similar to Jocasta. He's going to get a card and bring it back to her. Now, to you. Now, I do like the fact that he is he does thwart for 2, takes the 2 consequential, so I'm able to get rid of him very easily without and get a little bit more benefit out of him. So it's probably why he jumped a slot, and why that is probably the reason he moved above Clea. I'm able to get him into my discard pile so I can reuse him again quicker. So that would be my number 1 protection ally is Brother Voodoo. I love cards that do that.
All right. So yeah, that was Dirk's top 5-ish protection allies. So next will be Pool.
Pool. Ooh, yeah. I got that one was actually a little harder to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.
And if you want to see more content by us, go and hit that notification bell down there, and you'll get alerts whenever we post new videos. All right, see you.